Hey guys, what is up? This is Mr. A. Crizzy here, and in today's video, this is going to be a 5-year anniversary video for the 2020 action thriller film released on August 21st of 2020, exactly 5 years ago, at the time when movie theaters started to open back up slowly. And this is the movie starring Russell Crowe, Unhinged. On this day in 2020, Unhinged was released in theaters. Happy 5th anniversary. Yeah, so I still have it on Blu-ray even to this day. Even to this day, I still have this movie on Blu-ray ever since I first got it back in 2021. So, yeah, and plus, I remember when I saw trailers to this film, it had me, a little curious at first, but then it did look like a violent film from my perspective, but then a couple months later, in October of 2020, I remember the day me and my dad and Uncle Charles went and saw this movie in theaters, during COVID and all that. And yeah, it is kind of a violent movie. And then I actually didn't really like it all that much the first time I saw it. But then when I rewatched, but then I gave it a rewatch in 2022, back in April of that year, and and this movie started to grow on me, and I still think it's a pretty good movie. Yeah. I mean, sure, yeah, it is kind of violent, while at the same time, nonetheless, it's still a pretty decent film in my opinion. Probably now that I think about it, even after all these 5 years since this movie came out, I think Unhinged is probably one of the most underrated films to ever come out during the COVID year of 2020. Yeah. Yep, starring Academy Award winner Russell Crowe. He can happen to anyone. The man, otherwise or also known as Tom Cooper. The movie's rated R for strong, violent content and language throughout. From Ingenious and Solstice Studios. This movie is also two of the only films from the short-lived Solstice Studios because unfortunately, Solstice Studios didn't really last all that long. They only made the studio only released 2 movies. The studio was founded in 2018, and they only released 2 films, which were this movie, Unhinged, and the Ben Affleck film, Hypnotic, which I also saw in theaters, and I didn't really think it was all that bad in my opinion. And, yeah. And the movie's not even long either. It's approximately 90 minutes. Yeah, this movie also stars Karen Pistorius and Jimmy Simpson, Austin P. McKenzie, and Gabriel Bateman. Yeah. It's basically about a psychotic man that basically that the first the movie starts off as after 4 o'clock in the morning, and so he breaks into a house and kills a couple and sets the house on fire, and then drives away before it explodes. And then once the movie begins, he begins stalking this woman named Rachel. And so and then of course the man, Tom Cooper, he basically goes out stalking Rachel and telling her what a bad day really is, and know when to say sorry. And of course and Tom won't stop until he gets what he wants. Yeah. And then of course, in the middle of the film, Tom goes around killing Rachel's friends here and there, like Andy at this restaurant diner. Tom Cooper basically beats up a man like Andy, and in front of everyone in the diner, and kills him before he pulls his tie, choking him and strangling him before stabbing him with a butter knife. Yeah, I know, guys, this is a violent movie. It is pretty violent, but for me, after giving this movie a rewatch, and in 2022, I handled it pretty well, and and this movie has been growing on me, I think, even after these past 5 years. And yeah. And maybe sometimes Russell Crowe's character in this film kind of reminds me of some other psychotic men, like psychotic men characters, almost like the ones I've seen recently include John Goodman in 10 Cloverfield Lane, or Michael Douglas in Falling Down. Because those two villain characters are pretty much almost similar to Russell Crowe's villain character here in Unhinged, because all 3 of those characters that I just mentioned, they're basically they're basically played out as psychotic maniacs that won't stop until they get what they want. And yeah. And David Buckley's music is pretty good here, because it almost kind of felt like what it almost kind of felt like almost like one of those like music that one of those music type films that came out in like those types of music featured in films that came out in the late 2000s, like 2008. Especially the closing song to this movie, "Don't Fear the Reaper." That song actually plays during the closing credits, like during the first half. And yeah, and of course, I've had this Blu-ray since 2021, and then even and of course, my dad and Uncle Charles still hate this movie no matter what. And but I do get that this movie's for entertainment purposes only. So yeah, and I still think and I still don't mind this film. I think it's a good film. One of the most underrated films to ever come out in 2020, 5 years ago. And so yeah, so I'm gonna be showing you guys the whole Blu-ray case here, right here. Meant to do that. Includes Blu-ray, DVD, and digital. Special features. Oh yeah, and also fun fact about one of the filming locations to for like the restaurant diner scene in this film. I think from what I've read on Google, they actually like closed it down permanently. Like they closed it forever. I think I think after this movie came out. Yeah, because I don't know if any of you guys out there have been to the diner before, like, you know, the one of the filming locations where they filmed this film. But I gotta say, guys, I can probably tell if some of you guys out there have been to that place before it closed down permanently. I feel like the food probably tasted good, especially the sausage gravy that my parents usually make for like even in recent years every Christmas morning. Yeah. And Carl Ellsworth also wrote this film too, and Derek Borte he directed this film as well. And Andrew Gunn is actually one of the producers to Unhinged. Like, Andrew Gunn's actually one of the producers to this film, and of course he was also one of the founders of Unhinged. Excuse me, he was one of the founders of Solstice Studios, the studio that made this movie, along with Mark Gill. Mark Gill was the main founder of Solstice Studios, and yeah, and Andrew Gunn he has produced a lot of live action Disney films like Freaky Friday and the new one that just came out. Oh yeah, and Andrew Gunn, he also produced the Cruella live action movie as well. Yeah, which is pretty interesting. But yeah, and like I said, guys, even though my dad and Uncle Charles still hate this movie no matter what, and I can respect their opinions, and plus I also reminded them that I'm not going to become overly obsessed with this film just to prove myself that I like these types of films, and not just like animated movies and all that. But you guys already get it at this point. So because I think ever since I think after like 2020 began, I've been having these streaming services where I've been like watching and streaming content and films for these past 5 years, and that's why I've been on Letterboxd for officially 5 years. Yeah, it's hard to believe I've been on Letterboxd for exactly 5 years from now. Time flies pretty fast. But yeah, so yeah, even if you like action thrillers that are violent, and if you haven't seen Unhinged yet, then I say it's a good one-time watch for some of you guys out there. Yeah, if you just want to see like Russell Crowe in a fat suit, then like going around like being a psychotic maniac, then I say this is a decent one to check out. Maybe just a one-time watch for some of you guys, but like I said, I understand that this movie is for entertainment purposes only, not to reenact it in real life, because you would never ever do that. No. Oh yeah, and I also remember I also remember back in 2021 when this movie turned a year old. I actually dressed up as Tom Cooper, of course. I actually had like a blue and white collar shirt, and it's like and of course I also had like a picture of me like holding a hammer, like Tom was holding in the beginning of the film, like one of Tom's weapons in the film. And it's like and it was a picture of me holding this Blu-ray case. And I, and also back then in 2021, because to make myself look like Tom Cooper, I actually stuffed myself with a pillow inside my shirt to make myself look fat. I know that's a little weird, but I kind of felt like doing it anyway just to fit the theme. But yeah, but that was like the early years of 2020. So yeah, we're in 2025 right now. So, and of course this movie has been growing on me, and yeah. But yeah, so with that being said, happy 5th anniversary to Unhinged. From a short-lived studio that didn't last really long, Solstice Studios. Yeah, it kind of almost reminds me of Madison 23 in a way, because Madison 23 only made 2 movies, which, Reign Over Me and Funny People. At first I thought it was going to be the new Scary Madison, like they only released 1 movie, which was The Shortcut, but of course Solstice Studios had to get Hypnotic released before the studio went defunct, and they never released any more films after that. But, oh well. Because I guess Solstice Studios and Blue Sky Studios are 2 of the COVID-affected studios that went defunct due to that. So, anyway, like I said, happy 5-year anniversary to the movie Unhinged with Russell Crowe. And hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you're not subscribed yet, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't yet. And also make sure to like this video as well. With that being said, until next time, this is Mr. A. Crizzy saying, goodbye everybody, and that's about it.